Hey folks, it's Lindsay Hollis with SPS back in the building over at the beautiful MGM Grand, downtown Detroit. And I'm here with Wayne State head coach Bryan Smother. Coach, how you doing?
Excellent.
Excellent. You were part of this great panel. What does it feel like being an ambassador for the city of Detroit with the Wayne State program?
Yeah, no, it was a really cool event. I've been in the past. Horatio, whenever he does something, he does it really big time. So happy to be a part of it with a lot of really great coaches. You know, just listening to them speak, we all go through similar things, but also was able to have some takeaways that I'll use moving forward.
Yeah, there were some great things you talked about. I'm going to bring that up in a second. But one thing I'm noticing that your relationship with the foundation is continuing to grow, being a host for the HBCU Hoops and Culture. Yeah. And just kind of, what has that been like, just growing with Horatio over time?
It's the way that it's supposed to be. You know, Horatio has been around Wayne State, you know, when I was a player, so I've had a chance to kind of, you know, get to know him a little bit from afar, and over the last couple of years, just working with him and, you know, him working within our administration as well, with the people there. You know, it just makes everything come together for us at Wayne State and Wayne State Athletics. It's important for us to make sure that we tap in with everyone within the community as much as possible. And, you know, Horatio is a big advocate for people here in Detroit and the high schools as well. So it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, as a board member, I definitely want to say it's always a pleasure when we get a chance to work with Wayne State. Yeah. You know, things are seamless, things happen. Who knows what happens behind the scenes, but you get it done. I want to talk about your comments on the panel, Coach. And one thing I appreciated about how you articulated your unique situation with, there was a time we wanted players to be recruited out of high school and be with you 4 years, but you understand this new landscape. Do you feel sometimes you're almost kind of recruiting these guys indirectly to set them up to go to another level after they leave you?
You know, I think we can't be naive to the reality of college athletics right now. And so for us, it's really one of those things where we bring someone in, they're our guys, and, you know, but not having this time crunch where you're like, you know, 4 years, 5 years, this is how it's going to be. No, every year we got to maximize that player in our program, on the court, off the court. And, you know, in our minds, if we do a good enough job, then that'll help us, you know, with retention. Ultimately, there's other factors that come in play that doesn't always make that possible. So really, like, again, just maximizing each year with them, doing our best for them, making sure that we get the best out of them, and whatever happens from there, you know, we're not in total control of that.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that we do the best we can.
I like that outlook. My other follow-up question to that, Coach, is, you know, being on the stage with MAC teams as well as, you know, Ohio Valley Conference, what does that say about Wayne State's program, and what do you say, and whether it's your elevator pitch or whether you have a long plane ride next to someone, when you talk about the benefits of being able to play at Wayne State?
Yeah, for sure. You know, and I'm super proud of Wayne State being an alum and being a product of it. So I represent Wayne State in more ways than one. And so there's nothing that someone can tell me about Wayne State that I don't know. And so when I look at the Eastern Michigans, the Westerns, Miami, Ohio, you know, Tennessee State, you know, all of the schools that are here today, and anyone else, you know, I think Wayne State stacks up to them in a lot of different ways. Athletically, with how our department is run, the resources that we have. Academically, the programs that we have. Our institution is, you know, a top 100 institution. And so even beyond basketball, there's a lot of qualities that Wayne State possesses that anytime I get a chance to express that, I want to make sure that I do the best job.
You got a top-notch facility, too.
Absolutely.
Facility.
Absolutely.
Coach, I appreciate that. We kind of said it on stage, but for the camera, what advice would you give to someone who attended tonight and looking to ascend, or someone who may just watch this interview and they're looking to take another step?
Yeah, you know, a lot of high school coaches, a lot of people that are in coaching, but maybe they're trying to elevate themselves. I think the more they can put themselves around coaches, and not just in the sense of I'm trying to use this to get a job, but I want to make sure that I can learn as much as possible. I want to hear the things that they're saying about different dynamics because, again, whether it's high school, college, basketball is still basketball, and we experience a lot of things in win and in defeat. So just put the time in, be available. You know, you never know what opportunities can come up. Even if it's a volunteer or unpaid role, those are great opportunities to get yourself involved. You know, my story with that is, you know, I was a player, and you know, I was in between continuing to try to play professionally or, you know,
With so
starting
many people
something else.
experience.
And you know, Coach Greer at the time and the staff, hey, you know, you come back and you know you can start coaching, and that was something that I wanted to do. Along those lines, you know, I met staff at University of Michigan and Michigan State, and they allowed me to work their summer camps, and that led to relationships that when University of Michigan had an opportunity to be a graduate assistant, I was one of the first people that they thought of. So what was for me just a little way to make a couple dollars turn into a life-changing opportunity. So you never know what that can look like and what it can become.
I want to stay with that, and I love the fact that you're sharing your personal situation, Coach. I'll put my sports psychology hat on, got my master, you got your MSW. What role does ego or managing ego play during that walk, especially when you're coming off being a player, expected things, and you hear this word volunteer or unpaid? How do you manage ego in that?
It's huge, and I think that's the thing that stops people from maximizing who they can be, is that if you feel like a job or role or responsibility is beneath you. You know, in our team, right outside of our locker room when you're walking in, we have a sign that says check your ego. And to me, you can't be your best version if the small things don't fit you or what's necessary for the larger outcome. So, you know, that's unfortunately, I think that's something that people learn the hard way. But for me, I've never experienced a role or opportunity that was beneath me, and you know, I don't think there ever will be.
And because nothing has been beneath you, you continue to rise above. You got Coach Bryan Smother right here. Bryan with the Y, let it be known.
For sure.
Is it 50-50 sometimes, the I or Y?
If I asked people they would choose, they'll probably go with an I instead of a Y. Yeah. That's the default, I think.
Yeah, that's cool. Coach, I've been enjoying working with you and continuing to work with you. Any final thoughts you got before we let you go?
Yeah, no, again, man, shout out to the Horatio Williams Foundation. Shout out to Detroit, the city, man. Really excited for how we're going to put on the Final Four next year. And, you know, I want to make sure that any experiences people come to Wayne State, the city of Detroit, that we always do it to the best of our ability.
Well, you always do that when we're working with you. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
With that being said, guys, Lindsay Huddleston with SPS at the Horatio Williams Coaches Forum, and we'll see you next time. Peace.